Hello football fans, I'm Abby Loring. After defeating the New York Giants in a nail-biting win 36-35, many people called the final regular season game against the New York football Giants meaningless. Well, the Cowboys didn't treat it as such. The Cowboys took to the field without Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, and Ezekiel Elliott. However, this didn't stop the Cowboys from giving it their all.
Who love to play football. I think they love each other. I think they care about each other. They love the opportunity to come out here and play. And we had Dallas Cowboy uniforms on. They had New York Giant uniforms on. We had a chance to come play ball at MetLife Stadium. It's a hell of an opportunity for all of us. And we've been dreaming about these things since we were little kids. So, again, the objective, practice the right way, go play the right way, take advantage of this opportunity. Wasn't perfect, but I love the spirit that we played with. I love the relentless nature that we played with.
With the New York Giants game behind them, Dallas Cowboys are focused on the next challenge ahead of them, taking on the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC wildcard round. The Seahawks defeated the Cowboys 24-13 in Week 3. Jason Garrett talks about how this team is focused on eliminating mistakes and stopping the Seattle run game led by Chris Carson, who had over 100 yards on the ground against the Cowboys in their last meeting.
Just a really good player, and they have good offensive linemen, and they have a conviction about running the football, and he's been the focal point of that running game. They have other good runners too. They're physical guys, they're downhill guys. They do a good job coming off and staying on blocks with their offensive linemen and their tight ends, and they want to run the ball. So he's the guy they're going to hand it to, maybe more than anybody else. He's just done an outstanding job. A big physical guy who's hard to tackle. And so much of this is about us and what we need to do to play good run defense. And I think for the most part, we've done a good job of that over the course of the year. It's about us being fundamentally sound and being physical and, being in our gaps and setting edges and running to the ball and being a great tackling team, regardless of who they hand it to or what kind of runs they use.
And we have heard this a lot this season, but the Cowboys are a young team. This young team has more experience than you think, though. DallasCowboys.com columnist Mickey Spagnola thinks that if any team can handle this kind of pressure, well, it's the Cowboys.
So talking to Cowboys Pro Bowl guard Zach Martin today, he said, you know what, we've been in this situation the whole second half of the season. The Cowboys have had to win 7 of the final 8 games to win the NFC East, and most of those games were very close. 1 by 1 point, 2 by 3 points, and 1 in overtime. So they know what pressure is.
The NFL playoffs is a whole new game for many young players on the roster. Jason Garrett talks about how his team is preparing leading up to a big game on Saturday.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we try to do, regardless of what the circumstance is be who we are and be the best versions of us. And we try to do that each day in practice and preparing for, whatever the game is. And, whether you're playing home or away or who your opponent is or what the circumstances are, that's really something we try to instill in our team. I think the biggest thing you try to do is focus on what you need to do. Other people might treat it differently, but you like to get to a point with your team that you're approaching it the right way every day. And so the games are just a continuation of your approach day in and day out leading up to the ball game, regardless of what the stakes are. There'll certainly be great energy in our stadium. It's a playoff atmosphere. We all understand that and recognize that. But the biggest thing we need to do is just focus on what we need to do to get the job done.
The Cowboys have a shorter week of preparation this week. Dallas will host Seattle at AT&T Stadium on Saturday night for the first round of playoffs, and you can bet the boys will be hard at work every day leading up to the big game because the Cowboys are big game bound.